Good morning, class. This is a discussion on the sample item that I've shared with you on the class group. You have seen a lot of worksheets on a similar pattern. You're given a passage, and on the basis of that passage, you have to answer 4 to 5 questions, right? So I hope that you've already read this passage. This is a poster on being safe during an earthquake. You've been given some text and also some images that will help you answer the questions that come. Right? Along with the poster is also an earthquake story, right? You've been given two passages. So, on the basis of both these portions, you have to answer the given questions. Let us quickly glance through what we've been told. I hope that you've already read this. So, the title of the poster says, Stay safe during an earthquake, right? You know what an earthquake is? The shaking of the earth, है ना? So, it is a natural disaster, and this poster gives us the solutions of being safe during an earthquake. अपना बचाव कैसे कर सकते हैं earthquake के time, ये सब बताया गया है. So the first image tells us that one should not panic and remain calm. It says get next to a large bulky object, right? Large means huge, big in size, and bulky means heavy. Curl up in a fetal position. Fetal comes from the word fetus. Fetus is a very, very small child, right? Not even an infant, younger than an infant. And curl up is to say secure jana or shrink yourself into a fetal position. Find a triangle of life. So they have not really told what a triangle of life is, but if you look at the next image, you will understand what triangle of life is, right? You see this drawer, right? This set of drawers. You will see this child is sitting next to this drawer, and you will see a line which we can call hypotenuse of a triangle, and this is the area in which the child is sitting that would remain safe during an earthquake because she's sitting next to a bulky object, right? A large bulky object. Next, they tell us to prepare in advance. Make a survival kit. What is advance? Advance is something prior, right? Doing something, taking action before something has actually happened. So they're saying that before an earthquake takes place, you need to be prepared. And what is a survival kit? A survival kit is a kit or a bag in which you keep all your essentials. Survival is to live, right? The opposite of survive is to die. So, to make sure that you do not perish during an earthquake, you do not get hurt, you have to create a kit, a bag which has all essential items like water, non perishable food. Perishable is something which gets expired. So, you need food which does not expire, right? For example, packaged foods. A torch, a whistle, extra batteries, first aid kit, medications. Medications is medicines, right? Dawaiyan. Multi-purpose tool. A multi-purpose tool would be something like a Swiss knife, something which has a screwdriver, a knife, a bottle opener, things like that. So, a multi-purpose tool. Sanitation and personal hygiene items. For example, I teach an all girls class, right? You're all girls and you get periods once a month. So if you're making a survival kit, अगर आप एक बैग बना रहे हो जिसमें सारी essential चीज़ें डाल रहे हो, तो you have to make sure इसके अंदर you also have your sanitary napkins, for example, है ना? क्योंकि उसके बिना it's not possible to be hygienic, है ना? इसलिए you need to have all of these things ready in advance. Then the poster says stop, drop, cover, and hold on. So you see this the kind of language that they're using. It is declarative language, right? They're giving commands. Stop, drop, cover, and hold on. So they're saying wherever you're going, जहाँ पे भी हो रुक जाओ, नीचे ज़मीन पर झुक जाओ, and take cover. Take cover near a object, right? They've already said get next to a large bulky object, है ना? और उसको कस के पकड़ना है. Hold on, right? Have a plan कि आपका प्लान, आपकी स्ट्रैटेजी रेडी होनी चाहिए. Talk about earthquakes with your family. Make an emergency plan for what to do in case of an earthquake. Discussing ahead of time helps reduce fear, particularly for younger children. So they're saying why it is necessary to have a plan. They're explaining that. So they have explained why an emergency plan is important by telling us that discussing ahead of time reduces fear. अगर हम पहले ही बात कर लेंगे कि हमें ऐसे ऐसे करना है, दिस इज़ हाउ वील एग्जीक्यूट अ प्लान, किस किस को क्या काम करना है, तो इससे भय खत्म होता है, फियर खत्म होता है, स्पेशली इन यंगर चिल्ड्रन, है ना. अगर कोई छोटे बच्चे हैं, उनके सामने अर्थक्वेक आया, दे वुड गेट टेरिफाइड बिकॉज दे हैव नॉट एक्सपीरियंस्ड इट बिफोर, और दे डू नॉट नो, है ना, हाउ टू कोप विद दिस. So it's better to have an emergency plan ready in advance. This is a photo of a survival kit, right? This is an image to help you understand what a kit is, right? They have shown a bag and they've given this first aid sign, right? So you now know what a kit should contain. Okay. Moving on, they've also given an earthquake story, right? Not just a poster, they've given you a story. Let us quickly glance through it. The ground shook violently. Violently is something, is to do something with a lot of force. So the ground shook a lot with a lot of force, sending tremors through the building. Tremors is vibrations or shivering. So the entire building started shaking. Priya froze, unsure of what to do. Priya is the protagonist of this story, right? Priya के बारे में हमें एक कहानी बताई जा रही है. Priya froze. When you say ice freezes, so you mean to say that the ice has changed form, which means that liquid water has become solid, है ना? और जो liquid होता है, it flows, but solid does not flow. It stays in one position. तो इसमें ये बताया that Priya also froze. Priya stood at one spot. She did not know what to do, unsure of what to do. She was not certain. वो action नहीं ले पा रही थी. Then she remembered the school drill about the triangle of life and quickly dropped to the floor beside her bed. तो फिर प्रिया को याद आता है अपनी स्कूल ड्रिल के बारे में, जिसमें ट्रायंगल ऑफ लाइफ के बारे में बात की थी. एंड recalling what she had been taught during the drill, she dropped to the floor beside her bed. Right? Beside का क्या मतलब होता है? You understand this preposition, right? For example, I say this is a bed. So right next to the bed, the place which is right next to the bed would be beside the bed. Right? She quickly dropped to the floor beside the bed. वो अपनी बेड के साथ ही बगल में नीचे झुक गई. She curled up into a tight ball, protecting her head with her arms. Right? We've already studied in the poster that we should curl up into a fetal position. है ना? तो उसी को इस स्टोरी के माध्यम से वो एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं that she curled up, वो सिकुड़ गई into a tight ball, protecting her head with her arms. You can see this photo for a reference, right? She's curled up into a ball. The shaking continued for what seemed like an eternity. The shaking, because the earthquake was taking place, right? Therefore, the building was shaking, the ground was shaking, and it continued to shake for what seemed like an eternity. An eternity is a very long time, almost forever, right? Infinity. So it seemed like the earthquake would never stop. But Priya stayed put, her heart pounding in her chest. But Priya stayed put means Priya remained where she was. She did not move. She was patient. But her heart was pounding in her chest, which means that her heartbeat was very, very fast because she was scared, right? Because the earthquake lasted a very long time and she was scared. Finally, the tremors subsided. Tremors, I've already told you, are vibrations or the shaking that happens during an earthquake. Subside is to lower or to end or to lessen, right? Finally, the tremors subsided means that finally the earthquake was over. Priya cautiously crawled out from under her bed, relieved to find her family safe. Cautiously means with caution. Caution means to be wary. मतलब ध्यान से देखते हुए कि और कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा, कोई अनबन तो नहीं हो रही. Cautiously, judiciously, right? तो धीरे धीरे करके प्रिया अपने बेड के अंदर से बाहर आई. Crawled out means बाहर आई. Relieved to find her family safe. Relief मतलब सुकून मिलना. तो उन्होंने अपनी फैमिली को देखा that they're unharmed, that they're safe, and therefore Priya was relieved. She had learned an important lesson that day. Being prepared can save lives. So Priya says that she learned an important lesson. एक ज़रूरी सीख सीखी उन्होंने उस दिन, और वो क्या है सीख? That being prepared can save life. अगर आप पहले से ही prepared हो तो इससे आपकी जान बच सकती है. The triangle of life, a simple technique of finding shelter next to sturdy objects during an earthquake, had protected her. So, triangle of life is a technique that we've already studied in the poster, right? And this story tells us that this simple technique can actually protect and save people, save lives during an earthquake. So this is the unseen passage that you've been given. On the basis of this passage, you have to answer 5 or 4 questions. Let us start reading. Question number 1. What did Priya do when she felt the earthquake? You've been given 4 options. 1. Ran outside. B. Hid under a table. C. Dropped to the floor beside her bed. D. Screamed for help. Very easy, right? This is directly from the passage. Ran outside. We know that she did not run outside. See, it's directly from the passage. This is the line. Then she remembered the school drill about the triangle of life and quickly dropped to the floor beside her bed. Right? You can see the exact words here. Drop to the floor beside her bed. So running outside is not the right option. Hid under a table is not an option. Screamed for help is not an option. You have to read the passage very carefully and find what you've been asked. So drop to the floor beside her bed is the correct option because it's been given directly in the passage. Running outside is not an option because you've been told in the poster as well that you have to hold, you have to stay put. Hid under a table is not an option because this is not a solution given in the poster or the story. And screamed for help is not right because you know that this has not happened in the story that you've been told. Why did Priya feel relieved after the earthquake was over? Question number 2, right? Again, 4 options. Relieved, I've explained what relieved means, right? To feel grateful. Why did she feel relieved? Sukoon, calm, grateful. After the earthquake was over, she had successfully practiced the triangle of life technique. She was happy the earthquake was over. She found her family safe and unharmed. Or D, she was excited to tell her friends about her experience. Okay, so if you do not read the passage, any of these could be the right option, right? But because you have read the passage very, very carefully, you will find the right option easily. See this sentence. Priya cautiously crawled out from under her bed, relieved to find her family safe. Right? So, why did Priya feel relieved? She found her family safe and unharmed. Yeah, so this is the only thing that is the most necessary during while attempting unseen passages, that you have to read every single word of the passage very, very carefully, right? So A, B and D are not the correct options. C is the correct option. Question number 3. Why does the poster suggest that you include a torch and extra batteries in your survival kit? Option A, because earthquakes usually happen at night. Is that true? Do earthquakes usually happen at night? This is not true, right? This is totally false. This is incorrect. Earthquakes can happen at any time of the day. कभी भी हो सकते हैं earthquakes. Because earthquakes often cut off the supply of electricity. This seems to be the right answer, but let's continue reading. Because you can sell these items to your neighbors after an earthquake. Does this seem the right option? Does this seem like a very good thing? Do you suddenly become sellers of torches and extra batteries after an earthquake? No, right? This does not seem logical. So, this is not the correct option. Option D, because you can play with the torch if you are bored. Okay, so what is the most important thing while you're experiencing an earthquake? The most important thing is to save yourself and your family members, right? So being bored is not an option. You do not get bored during an earthquake. So the correct option has to be B because rest of the options are incorrect. Let's move on. Question number 4. Why is it important to have a family discussion about earthquakes before they happen according to the poster? Right, so now they're talking about the poster, not the story. Let's see the options. Option A, to learn interesting facts about earthquakes. Is the family discussion necessary to learn interesting facts about the earthquakes? You can learn about interesting facts even from this passage, right? You do not need a family discussion. फैमिली से डिस्कशन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है अर्थक्वेक के बारे में फैक्ट्स जानने के लिए, क्योंकि आप फैक्ट्स तो कहीं से भी सीख सकते हैं, राइट? सो दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट. Option B, to practice different survival techniques. This might be an option. Okay, let's keep this aside. Moving on. C, to reduce fear and prepare everyone for what to do. Yes, this is the right option. Why? Because this is directly from the passage. Right? Let me take you back. See, Discussing ahead of time helps reduce fear, particularly for younger children. Right? If you read the poster carefully, you will see the answer by yourself. You will not have to spend a lot of time. Right? Just glance through the questions and then read the passage so that you know what you're looking for. Right? D. To educate people in how to prevent earthquakes. So three of these options seem to be correct, but only one is correct because only one has been addressed in the poster. So the correct answer is C. Question number 5. How is the earthquake story intended to increase the effectiveness of the poster? Okay. Why is the story given, right, along with the poster? That is the question. A. By providing a relatable story about using the techniques mentioned in the pamphlet. B. By explaining some of the technical language used in the pamphlet. C. By adding new information that was left out of the pamphlet. Or D. By suggesting that earthquakes are not as dangerous as many people think they are. Alright, so option number T is outright incorrect. This is incorrect. Why? Because this is not the intention at all, right? Because the poster has been given and the story also has been given to tell us how to be prepared during earthquakes. और earthquakes के लिए prepared होना क्यों ज़रूरी है? Because earthquakes are very dangerous, right? They're natural disasters and they cause loss of life and property. So D is not correct because they are actually very, very dangerous. Option number C. Do you think the story gives us any new information? No, right? The information that we already have through the poster has been explained by telling us how someone can use it in their everyday life, in their normal life. The practical application of this information has been given, right? So no new information has been added. कोई new information हमें नहीं दी गई है जो कि pamphlet में ना हो. So option number C is incorrect. Option number B. Do you think that some technical language has been explained in the story? Can you think of anything? No, right? Everything has already been explained in the poster. You've been given images, you've been given text, you've been given headers, you've been given instructions in the poster. So the poster in itself is very, very detailed. It has all the information that you need. Even the technical language, for example, triangle of life has been explained by telling you, by showing you an image. Do you remember? This is the image, triangle of life. Can you see this triangle? So even this has been explained. What you should add in a survival kit has also been given in detail. You've been given images, you've been given sketches. So the technical language has already been explained in the pamphlet. So this is not something that the earthquake story does. So because B, C and D are incorrect, A has to be the right answer. But let us also see why it is the right answer. By providing a relatable story about using the techniques mentioned in the pamphlet. Yes, this is the right answer because it shows us what Priya actually does when she experiences an earthquake. Right? She remembers her school drill and about the triangle of life. Triangle of life has been mentioned in the poster and this story tells us, ये story हमें बताती है कि triangle of life टेक्निक को हम कैसे प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, है ना? सो दिस इज अ रिलेटेबल स्टोरी. इस स्टोरी को पढ़कर आप समझ सकते हैं कि हम इसको अपनी एवरीडे लाइफ में, प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में कैसे इस्तेमाल करें, राइट? सो ऑप्शन ए इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. This is your sample item 1. I will share more items with you, right? Thank you.